Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So, Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G3. This, people, is going to be Marquez versus Pacquiao 4. And what I mean by that is, it's going to be an exciting fight, but what I want to underscore is, this fight is going to end in a knockout. And I honestly feel, opposed to what the majority is saying, I feel Triple G is going to knock out Canelo. I really do. And I'm gonna tell you why. Okay? It's the same situation that Marquez was in going in against Pacquiao. It's the same thing. Triple G, listen, everyone has an opinion of who won the first fight, who won the second fight, as far as Canelo and Triple G. Okay? I personally think Triple G won both fights. I don't care that Canelo came in the second fight and started fighting, coming forward, this quote-unquote Mexican style. Doesn't matter to me. Canelo lost that damn fight. I don't care what anyone says. He lost the fight, okay? And if you look at the punch stats for the first fight and second fight, Triple G outlanded him and everything else. So we just got to be real about it. We just got to be real about it, okay? Canelo lost. Now, I'll say this. For Canelo, he's going to have probably a different passion about this fight because he lost to Bivol. So he's going to want to come back and get a good win. But that's going to make him even more vulnerable. Look, Canelo against Bivol, true styles make fights. But Canelo with this come forward style, just try to, counter you and pop shots you and walk you down. I'm just not sure that works against Triple G. Now, when Triple G fought Murata, the first few rounds looked pretty shaky for Triple G. He even got hurt to the body. So you could say, wow, Canelo, based on the early rounds of the fight, Canelo hurt Triple G. Triple G was coming off of a long layoff, man. A long layoff. He got in there, got his rounds in, and he's staying active. He's about to fight again against Canelo. So that's the first thing we need to understand. Canelo's not meeting Triple G after a long layoff. He's meeting an active Triple G. Second thing is this. Triple G's never been knocked out. He hasn't gone down. And Triple G still hits hard. He hits powerful. And Canelo's going to want to prove a point because he keeps saying it's personal for him. That's anyone who knows anything about boxing will tell you. You can't go in there fighting off of emotion. So right there, Canelo's lost, in my opinion. The only way Canelo wins this fight, because trying to exchange with Triple G is just going to be to his detriment. Canelo that's not something that he needs to do, stand in the middle of the ring and trade with Triple G. Canelo's not the same either. He's not the guy with the young legs. And if you watch Canelo, his fight against Triple G in the first and second fight, he has stamina problems. When he fought Bivol, he said he got tired. You can't get tired against Triple G. Triple G doesn't get tired. So I think Triple G, between round 6 and 8, he stops Canelo. He stops him. Triple G has everything, man. He is not going to let it go to the judges. He's not. And Canelo isn't Murata. He's not going to be able to just come in there and bang Canelo and bang Triple G to the body and get some lucky shots in. That's just not something he's going to be able to do. Huh?
My brother's trying to find me.
Daddy doing a video, man.
I'm hiding. I'm about to hide.
Okay. You gonna let me finish my video? Huh? Okay, go back out there. Let me finish my video. You gonna let me do my video, baby? I'll be done in a second.
I'm just looking at my picture.
Ah, shit. You going? Close the door. See, when you have kids, most people would stop and cut all that out. I don't do that, man. I have kids. That's my little one. So if he wants to come in here and talk to me, it's okay, because this video doesn't matter. The kids are what matter. So pick it up, right? So when it comes to Canelo and Triple G, Triple G is not going to let Canelo come in there and get those shots off on him like what Murata got off on Triple G to the body. And the reason that Murata was able to get those off is two reasons. One, Triple G's layoff. Two, Morata was a gold medalist. I think a lot of people forget that. You know, the man was a gold medalist. True, he probably didn't get to the level we'd expect of someone who's an Olympic gold medalist, but he still brings a lot to the table. Look at his record, okay? So it speaks for itself. But just look at what Marquez did. Some people say he was on the Canelo beef going into that fourth fight with Pacquiao. I'm not sure he was on the Canelo beef, but his body did change. What I do know is he worked on a certain shot, because after 3 fights with somebody, you notice patterns. And he was right. Pacquiao had a pattern of feinting and kind of stutter stepping in on that front foot with his hands down, like playing around, seeing what you're going to do to react. And Marquez worked on that shot. And when Pacquiao did it, when he was able to time it, he caught him. He caught him. Because Pacquiao, even to this day, when he fought Thurman, Pacquiao was still doing that same stutter step thing. So that's just something, as a bad habit, he has not been able to break. He's retired now. But for Canelo, we got to look. I'm sure Triple G and his team are looking at Canelo and seeing what are the habits that Canelo has, that he consistently does. One thing Canelo does is he'll go straight back. He'll throw one shot. You know, he'll dip to certain size. But Canelo is an excellent fighter. But I think in this fight, the one thing about Canelo that has shown a pattern, aside from the pop shotting, dipping to the right, going straight back, stamina. I think the person who's in the best condition is going to have the advantage. And I think that's Triple G. And Triple G is going to walk Canelo down. Once you watch what's going to happen, within the first 3 rounds, Canelo's going to be on his back foot. And he's going to be going back. And Triple G is just going to cut that ring off and chop him down. Now, true, when you're trying to walk Canelo down, you're susceptible to all kind of crazy counters and shots coming from angles and crazy combinations. But the same can be said for Triple G. And Triple G doesn't just throw your textbook 1-2 straight down the pipe. He may jab, and come over with that right. They hit you here on top of your head. And Canelo, because he dips, I'm telling you this fight, I think Triple G knocks Canelo out. And that's the only way he can win. Canelo's coming off of a loss, so he wants to redeem himself. But at the same time, Canelo's coming off of a loss. So the decision makers in boxing, the boxing politicians, they can't have the cash cow lose twice. Canelo can't lose twice. No way. If it goes to a decision, they're going to rob Triple G. They robbed him the first 2 fights. They tried to rob Mayweather. The first 4 rounds, they totally robbed Bivol. So Triple G has to look at all that and look at what happened to himself. And he got to say, going into this fight, all the odds are stacked against Triple G. All the odds are stacked against him. Just like with Marquez. Don't get me wrong, those fights with him and Pacquiao were close, but Marquez won. Especially that first fight, when he came back after those knockdowns in the first round. Marquez beat him every second of the round for the next 11 rounds. And they robbed him. And those other fights were close. But this is the thing. With Canelo and Triple G, it wasn't that close in my opinion. And for you out there who's saying, man, where do you get that from? You sound like you're kind of riding Triple G's coattail. No, I'm not, man. If you look at the total punches, right, that were thrown per round was 47 for Canelo, 69 for Golovkin. The average punches, landed 15 for Canelo, 18 for Golovkin. This is per round. And the percentage, as far as jabs, thrown 20 for Canelo, 37 for Golovkin. Landed 4 for Canelo, 9 for Golovkin. So he outlands him there. And then power shots, 26 for Canelo, 28 for Golovkin. Average landed was about 10% for Canelo, and then 9 for Golovkin. But when you look at it, Golovkin just outshines him in every category. So, it's ridiculous. Triple G was the busier fighter in the 2 fights. Just, his jabs, double the middleweight average. And that jab accounted for half of his offense, man. And it's crazy because when you look at it, as far as Canelo 1 and 2, Triple G was landing slightly below the middleweight average for power shots. And Canelo 1 and 2 after landing, in his previous fights, over 45%. So Canelo was able to nullify the power shots from Triple G, but Triple G was able to do a lot of that with Canelo. The one thing Triple G didn't do with Canelo in those fights was go to the body a whole lot. He just didn't do it. But Canelo was probably a bit more efficient, but he didn't outland Triple G. He landed 30% overall, 40% of his power shots. And where in his previous opponents, he landed 34%. So it just shows you that Canelo is more selective about his punches, but as a result of not having as high as an output, he landed less in those two fights. So we just got to be real. We're looking at this. Canelo's not going to come out here and be a volume puncher. It's not going to happen. So when you ask the question, how close were the two fights? They landed within 6 punches of each other in 16 to 24 rounds, fought with 1 round even in connects. Triple G's 234 total punches landed, 234 punches landed, 879 thrown. And the rematch were the most by Canelo's opponent. And 24 of the fights tracked by CompuBox. So let me tell you something, man. Triple G's 160 landed power shot punches were also the most by Canelo opponents. So Triple G has what it takes to clip Canelo. I think he is going to knock him out. I think Canelo's going to come in there fighting to prove a point that 1, he dislikes Triple G, so he wants to knock him out. 2, he wants to show that his time isn't over because he just lost against Bivol. But I think all of that is just recipe for disaster, trying to prove a point that you're still the pound for pound best, and 2, trying to hurt Triple G. And I think it's just all recipe for disaster because Canelo has stamina issues. Triple G clips him within round 6 to 8 is my opinion, man. That being said, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, you enjoyed the channel. Shout out to all the veterans. Y'all keep safe, and I'm in the breeze.